Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Stoke Hunters. I have the crew from Baseline Mountain out in Central Alberta, south of Rocky Mountain House. Probably one of my favorite mountains in all of Alberta, probably the most welcoming group I've been to. And if you haven't checked it out, you'll definitely want to check it out after this conversation, so I'll bring everyone on. Welcome guys to the podcast.
Howdy.
What's up?
G'day.
Hello.
So I've definitely, this podcast has gone from 1 guest to 4 to potentially 5 or 6, depending on how many people else check on tonight. But maybe let's start with like the history of Baseline and what you guys have done to build it there.
So Baseline started like sometime in the 90s. There's a few debates about that, but it actually held the Canada Cup in the 90s for 2, if not 3 years. So they had the best of the best from all over Western Canada kind of hurling themselves down there as fast as they could. And then they used to let amateurs race on there and everything. So there's a few local legends that showed up and kind of beat the pros and upset a few of the timekeepers and stuff like that. But yeah, it started in the 90s, and then there was a bit of a sleeping giant there for probably until when did you get there, Nathan? Probably
98.
Yeah, your first time. But when did you start hanging out again?
2014, 15.
Yeah, so in 2015 it started gaining traction again, and we started I guess building the community and spreading the Stoke and getting it out there. And that's our ongoing motto, is dig the Stoke and bury the hate. And from about 2014, 15, I guess 17, the club started, and we took it from there. And now we're aiming for world domination.
Yeah, like all the trails out there, or most of them anyways, have existed in one form or another for 20, 25 years. Quite a few of them built by a lot of the old school crew there that used to ride. It still does ride out there, but not quite as much as they used to, because they'll have families and are growing up. But yeah, like people like Derek DeRocher, his group did a lot of work in the background back in the day. We've kind of came in and maintained. We've made a few additions, but more or less maintained the trails that the old school guys have created, and tried to keep the flavor of them more or less the same. Old school, steep fall line, technical downhill trails. So most of our crew and our executive board likes to ride. Steep and deep.
Yeah, it's definitely a mountain that'll throw you around if you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, totally. And that's where like the bury the Stoke, the
Dig the Stoke.
Dig the Stoke, bury the hate kind of comes from, is we got like lots of people with not a real technical downhill background who come out to the mountain, and I think they're expert riders and attempt our technical downhill trails, and that throws them for a bit of a loop. And then sometimes like you get the odd person who likes to come out and help and contribute all the time, and a lot of people like to sit on the internet and talk shit about how we're not Silver Star and we don't have 8-foot tall berms and shit. But
oh no, I did yoga pants on a hardtail, so I think people need to just come out and ride rather than like always have egos, but that's just me.
Yeah, totally. No, Baseline can definitely be a eye-opening experience for some people who aren't used to quite that technicality of riding, I guess.
Well, it's called mountain biking, not groomed flow trail that somebody spent $100,000 on for me to ride.
I mean, you guys are getting a few flow trails, but I mean, if you can't, like, I feel like Baseline's like a standard. It's like if you can't make it through the blacks at Baseline, they're probably maybe don't go out to BC yet. I don't know.
Well,
Fair point.
I think that like the boys always told me, like I learned to ride there. I haven't been riding that long, but they always told me if you can ride baseline, you can ride anywhere. And then they just kind of threw me into it. So
Yeah. Baseline was my first mountain that I rode this year, and I've only been biking for a year. But it's like if you go slow at it and have people show you, I think you can have fun.
Oh yeah.
Go your own pace, learn at your own pace. That's what it's all about. Anybody can ride with anybody. That's the beauty of it all. So
Yeah, we try and curate like a really friendly community. If anyone can show up, jump on shuttles. Most people in the parking lot are willing to talk to you, have a conversation, not kind of look down your nose from the top of their $20,000 or $15,000 Santa Cruz.
always 3 high fives in the parking lot too. So
Lots of sweet high fives, but definitely if there's seats available in the shuttle, just get in. Let's have fun.
Get in.
I know everybody on the board has definitely shown more than one beginner down the side of the mountain at more than one occasion, and is still happy to either do a hot lap where you're burning brakes and back tires, or just do a cruiser lap and spread the stoke. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you show up at the parking lot, you're not going to be sitting there waiting for somebody to talk to you. Like people approach you, offer you a ride to the top. It's a pretty sweet community out there.
Yeah, definitely the vibe I got and the welcoming I got. I went out to BC to Kelowna, Revelstoke, Fernie, like a lot of places, and it was just wild. Like Eric was like, "Hey, come follow me through yoga pants." I'm like, "I've never done it before." He's like, "It's okay. Like I'll wait for you." And same with Diana and Lance, and like Eric even let me use like tons of people like are like if they have a second bike, they're like, "Here, ride this instead of your hardtail." You don't see that at other places. Like
No, like we're a small community, and we like the more people we get out there involved in the community and willing to volunteer their time on the trails, and if they feel welcome, I think more people are more willing to come out there and do that. And like we're a pretty small crew, core group of people who do a lot of the work on the trails, and anyone else who comes out to contribute or help or in any way is appreciated. Like the more people we can get out to the trail days and everything, the more work we can do, the more we can grow the network, the more we can work on our new trails that we're looking to build, some friendlier, easier trails that we're looking to build, just to keep growing the mountain and the community out there. Because right now it's just it's a bunch of hardcores, but we're definitely looking to expand the network, so there's something for everybody.
Well, I mean, you're doing something right. When your women's mountain bike day had what, Nathan, like 18,
20 people.
Yeah.
So like in the last 2-3 years, we've added the Swirly Burl, which is a great beginner cross-country-ish trail, but great for beginners, super fun, easy descent. We put a ton of work into our little Grom trail from the start of the clear cut down for something for the kids to ride, just to bring more families out and get more people involved.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely getting pull now. Like I've ran into people down there from Edmonton and Calgary when I've come down, so it's pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
The poker rally that we've had riders come from Valemont, and like we've even had one guy come back all the way from Vancouver Island because he loved the experience that much for the poker rally. So definitely keep an eye out for that in the first weekend of June.
I was sad.
Good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think when did me and James come down, Nathan? Like August
for the ladies' ride. That would have been August 12th or 15th for the second annual ladies' ride.
Yeah, and then hearing about the poker ride from Barnabas and everything, like it sounds like a good time. So I'll definitely be there next year.
Yeah.
How did you all get involved with Baseline?
How about you, Nathan?
Oh, I came back to mountain biking after welding and was just trying to get back to my core lifestyles and trying to find a better mental health and better lifestyle. And I started working at Wipeout, and Zach Shipowick, one of the regulars, locals, dragged me out there, and that was in like 2015, I think. And then you just get hooked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of when I came back. But yeah, I started riding there like early, like 1998, racing there, and then rode there till like 2008. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah,
So I'm the newest member of the board, I guess, or whatever. But I in like 2019, I think 2019. Yeah, we were having our third kid, and I was going to Calgary to get a vasectomy, and I bought myself a bike for a vasectomy present, man. I didn't even test drive it. I bought this bike, and I was like, it looks good. Can you put it in the truck for me? I'm not allowed to lift anything. So this guy put it in the truck for me, healed up. And then once I was healed up, I went out with old Dave Newman, and he kind of showed me around, and I live close by. I just kind of got hooked. I was out there quite a bit, and then just doing Friday night laps like every Friday night. And then a couple of years ago, Nathan asked me if I wanted to be on the board or whatever. So I jumped at that. It's a great group of guys. It's a good cause. It keeps me skinny. I'm fight the dad bod off, and yeah, I don't know. I'm loving it. It's good.
Yeah.
I like that kind of sports too. Like I'm into that kind of stuff. So
yeah, as we can see with your side by sides and everything in the back, I thought you were gonna say when you were gonna go for a vasectomy, I thought you were just gonna say you bought a bike and then accidentally canned yourself.
Oh no. No. No, and these guys they pushed me pretty hard. But I enjoy that kind of stuff, and they're just like, let's go, follow me, and yeah.
Yeah, I've made sure my those funny little levers on the front of my bike work good when I have to follow anyone at Baseline, because you guys are fast and hit things that I have no way to hit.
Pads are key.
Just have a brake changing station at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then I guess I showed up. I moved to Rocky in 2014 and was looking for a place to ride my bike. So I just was literally pushing my bike up the road, and the same Baseline attitude even back then. Eric Faubert and Justin Turner, Sean Gray, and Corey Slater were just like, get in the truck. And I was like, we can do it with trucks? Sure. This is way easier. And those guys took me to the top. And it's just, for myself, moving to the area and finding a community like that has been great. Like, I came for the mountains, fell in love with the riding, and stayed for Jason's mustache.
Yeah, I think it's actually
years, buddy.
I think it's actually next to impossible to be in that parking lot and not be offered a ride. Like, it's like you have to try to like pedal yourself before, like, you'd have to like constantly say no to like avoid getting.
Oh yeah, four people are passing on the way up, and offer your ride also.
Yeah. And if you do decide to pedal up the road, everyone that passes you will say, get in the truck. So That's like
Yeah.
Jason and Eric did that to me my first couple summers there too. I just show up after work and start pedaling, and there they are. Get in the truck. So yeah.
Yeah, like I grew up in Red Deer, was always riding in Red Deer and Moose Mountain and BC, and I've never really ridden Baseline. Didn't really know anybody who rode out at Baseline or anything like that. And like back in the day, it was maybe a little harder to get the gate combo information and all that stuff. So yeah, kind of knew Nathan a little bit, and Zach Shipowick also at Wipeout, and said, come out to Baseline. So came out to Baseline, and that was probably, I don't know, 2017 or something for the first time, and was absolutely blown away by how good the riding was within an hour or an hour and 20 minutes of Red Deer. Baseline totally fits my style of riding. All the people who I met out there were all awesome people. Kind of started just before the first poker rally that we held there. We had a pretty major windstorm, just like we did last year. Knocked a bunch of trees down on the road. They put a call out for volunteers for the poker rally to come out and help clean up the road and get access open to the top again. And showed up there with Eric and who else was there? Not Ed Coles, Ed Chartrand. Just cut from the bottom of the road to the top of the road. Met some great people, formed some good relationships, and just have been coming out there riding ever since. And just with my work schedule, I'm usually off from kind of end of March to middle of June before I fire up again. So first couple seasons out there, came out and lived more or less at the mountain for 30 to 40 days in a row, just doing trail work every day. Me and Eric get up, we'd either go hike or ride or go work on trails, go scope new lines, and just have been at it ever since. I love it. It's a great community, great place to be. And I don't really ride anywhere else these days.
It's hard when you're like only an hour away or closer, right?
Yeah. I know, it's just the style of riding totally suits I'll ride them, but I'm not that interested in blue folk trails or anything like that. Like, I like the steep and deep.
Yeah. So this is my first year mountain biking, and I didn't even realize I was a mountain biker until it was like people asked me how many days I went riding, and I was starting to do like 100 kilometers a week. Like you just kind of like get absorbed into the community, and like the adrenaline just pumps and like kind of like blends the time. Have you guys experienced similar things?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're crushing day after day, weekend after weekend, and just hooked on it.
Yeah.
Or you go visit your friends in BC and they're all like, you're actually fast. Yeah, I am. Sweet. I was never fast before. I'm not fast at home.
The first year that I rode Baseline, I was just on my a little old Slayer, definitely not aggressive as the new Slayers, like more or less 6-inch travel cross country bike, and just going out there and riding all the time, and then buying a downhill bike and then jumping on that, riding all the time. Like, my riding improved so much the first 2 years. We were like, I first really jumped into Baseline, I guess. I went from a pretty timid, slow cross country rider to a I can manage on a downhill bike.
Yeah. You can hold his own.
Absolute animal. Yeah.
And it does become all consuming. I had my birthday last year and turned 40, and I was like, man, why not just ride 40 different locations for my 40th? So like all of a sudden mountain biking just took over the whole year, and like I broke my arm and still managed to ride 41 different places throughout the year. Just it became that obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you all ride?
Oh man, everywhere from like all the way out to the island, North Island, South Island, everywhere on the coast, and then pretty much everywhere in between there as well. The surprise of all of them were like the lakes south of Medicine Hat, like Cypress Lakes and stuff. They got some surprisingly good like intermediate trails, nothing super gnarly, but I was like, man, I like I said, went there on a whim, heard some rumors, and turns out the rumors were true. They're pretty fun trails down in different area like that I'd never been to.
Yeah, I came across their community down there, and it seems like I wasn't able to go down this summer, but next summer I'll be making it down to see them, and I'm excited to see the trails down there.
Yeah, definitely put it on your list and go and have a look.
So where does Baseline, like out of the 41 and going across all of Canada, where does Baseline fit into that?
Number one. Like this, as Jason was saying, there's nothing else like it. Like it's steep, it's like loose, it's classic. Like you're there, you're actually riding. Like you're challenging yourself every time you go for it. Like every time you drop into the ridgeline, it's never the same. Like there's always some new loose rocks, there's a new trench somewhere that you didn't quite see, and like you can't just rest on your laurels and be like, oh yeah, this is easy. Like you're in it from start to finish, and you're trying to find rest spots. Like yeah, there's a couple of them along the way, but when you jump into lifto and you start, you're like, okay. The classic, I was showing some friends around, and they're like, you know, how's the trail? I was like, well, it starts here and just stop when you hit the road. So like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, it's going to be a handful. Like, just you'll know when to stop. And they just finished, and like, this is crazy. Like, yeah.
Well, I think like Lifto, Ghost Dog, Carney has, or it's like closest thing you can get to like snowboarding or skiing, I think, on two wheels. Like it's just I hope you got to be you're comfortable that you can still steer but not be able to stop if you want. Kind of thing.
I think that's like a big thing why like mountain biking in general is like excellent for your mental health, is because if you're riding on stuff like that, you have to focus on the task at hand and only the task at hand, because if you're not, you will get hurt like 100%. Like, so, and I think that's why it's great. It's just you can focus on one thing, block everything else out, blow some energy, and it's great. It's turned into a lot of that for me too, not just physical fitness but mental fitness. So
yeah, there's just something about mountain biking. I don't know what it is, but like you go and it just gets like the brain flowing for some reason. Like it's adrenaline, it's fun, it's like clear, like mind clearing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that ongoing, like the break from the ongoing stresses of life. Like it doesn't matter what you do, like there's always something, like when you're at work, you're at home or anywhere else like that. Like, but as soon as you get like out into the mountains on your bike, like it's you and the bike, you know, but hopefully it's you, the bike, and your buddies, because like everybody deals with it and we all go through the same stuff, and we're all, you know, we've all got our own little inner demons to battle with. But you know, for most of us, like that, the grip therapy is what it's all about, and like being able to hang out with friends and being able to take that break from the rest of life and you know, reset yourself and hopefully carry on with a better attitude and a friendlier smile the next day.
Yeah,
and hopefully maybe even some cool scars, right? Like,
I mean, I shouldn't say the going rate of the times I've visited to how many injuries I've seen, but That baseline might scare a few people away, but yeah, it's 1-to-1 right now.
It happens.
Yeah.
Um,
We've had a few major incidents over the years, but overall it's been pretty good. Couple broken bones.
Yeah.
I think any bike park is riddled with that stuff. Like,
Yeah. For how intense the riding is out there, it could be a lot worse. Could see a lot more injuries than we do.
yeah. Yeah, I think it brings a higher caliber of riders, so you probably don't see as many as if it was like some other bike park riding level at coming out to baseline.
Yeah, you definitely got to
think
respect
that.
them out there.
I've seen people come out to baseline with like a mud flap and like a little town bell, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go," and I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
are you?
all right, like we're doing
Get on in.
and like you can take them down, but like I think because people learn within like the first 500 meters, like they're like, oh man, this got real, and you're like, yeah, dude, like this is real, like this is
it or you
mountain
love it, like
yeah, and I think it tends to beginners come out, but they definitely give it a little bit more respect than a wide open machined flow trail, because they learn pretty quick that it's not doesn't have the forgiveness where you can just cruise all over the trail. Like there is lines, and if you're not in the lines, you're having a hard time, that's for sure. So a lot of people, like we do get first timers and young families and stuff like that, but I think the loam on the shoulders and hopefully not too many trees gives it a little bit more respect than something that of a machine built style.
yeah, like I ride there with my kids, and they're like 4, 6, and 8, and they're like they get better every time they're there, and they just have a blast. But like they're for sure getting bounced around and stuff, and I think that's part of it. Like from all the mountain bikers I've met, like anywhere, not just at Baseline, I think in general mountain bikers are tough people. Like they can take a beating pretty good, I think so. And
comes with the territory.
yeah. So
Well, that's what kept me away from mountain biking for so long. Like I grew up skiing and had pro deal and everything, so I'm like, why would I buy a mountain? Like hucking a cliff, you land in powder, it's always soft, like 20 feet, 30 feet, you tomahawk that, it's okay. But then I'm like, on a bike, if you're standing still and fall over, that hurts. So anything else is going to be more than that. And I'm like, so why would I pay more to hurt myself more? And then, last summer I was like, I'm just going to do it. And then now it's like, yeah, I see why people do it.
You get it.
Yeah.
they kind of go hand in hand too, I think, the two sports. So
I've been hurt a lot worse skiing than I have been on my mountain bike.
me too.
And that's saying something coming from Baseline.
Yeah, I've definitely had more ski injuries than bike injuries for sure. But I've only been biking for 4 years, so.
So what's the future hold for Baseline?
Nathan?
Yes. More infrastructure, signage. We are looking at doing some machine built trails.
Eventually.
Yeah, those are in the works. It's not always easy when you don't have funding for it. So
yeah, we have big dreams, but we run on a pretty shoestring budget at the moment. So
yeah, exactly what Jason says. Like, it's not our biggest goal, but it is something there that we want to have done.
We've created a master plan.
Yeah, and our master plan kind of has that all laid out over the next 10 years. So
we've done a bunch of mapping for trails that we would like to expand to or start working on. Some different levels of machine built. We've got plans for possibly some kind of gazebo or something in the parking lot.
3, I think.
That are all part of the master plan. Looking to expand the trail network into some more friendlier trails, as well as maintain and improve the ones we already have.
Yeah, definitely. The idea is to hopefully encourage, like, people's partners, and not only that, the next generation of mountain bikers coming up in the area. We've got everybody on the board is pretty much approaching their 40s, if not in their 40s. So it'd be nice to set something up for some younger talent coming through, and pave the way for those guys to actually have something to build a community around, as well, as opposed to other alternatives that are nowhere near as cool as mountain biking, that's for sure. But to get to get the kids out there, and to get partners involved, and the whole family dynamic in there is definitely a big target for us. But we're getting there.
If any younger kids there, 16, 18, 20, with lots of ambition, want to come out and do some free manual labor, we're happy to have them.
It builds character, right?
It does.
Hey, at the race this year, we actually had like a pretty sweet group of sick young riders. Actually, I was pretty impressed with them. They were
the youngest rider was
young people at the race there for sure. It was good to see.
Yeah.
No, there was a few dads and a few moms chasing kids down the trail, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The little ones there.
Yeah, they always go fast, and they, at those ages, they still bend. So what made you guys want to join the executive board and stuff like that, and like give back?
I originally started because we were going to be harvested or logged, similar to what Moose is going through in the near future. But there wasn't any club or anything, so there was no reason to share information unless we set up a club. So a bunch of us got together and we're like, all right, we're now starting a club. And then it started with, like, we had our first poker rally, and it was just an idea, and it was a really badly ran idea. Like, there was people really angry about cheating, and then there was lots of people laughing. They're laughing so hard about cheating. So, like, all of a sudden, we had, like, one guy had 8 aces, and like, huh. I don't know if that really happened on that one, but we were hoping like maybe 20 or 30 people will show up, and then 77 or 78 people showed up just to be crazy people hurling down the side of the mountain. And like that definitely, like, we started just to get the logging going, and then things like the poker rally or costume rides or trail days, like, just fed the stoke that kind of kept us going. Like, all of a sudden, like, other people want to come and hang out, and like other people are grateful for what we do. And that's all it took for pretty much all of us to be like, all right, we're doing this. And then we all sacrifice out of our own time, and a lot of the time out of our own pockets. Like, the club definitely wasn't sustainable for the first year, so like for the first 2 or 3 years. So we all ended up like pitching some money in to kind of pay bills ahead of events and things like that. And then we're finally at the point now where we actually break even at the end of the season, and we're like, woo, that one didn't cost me anything. Sweet. And then we've got a community behind us. Like, I'd say big thanks to Nathan and his social media on that one. And then, all the effort, people like Jason put in on trails and all that kind of stuff, and trying to find a friendlier face on the mountain over Thomas is pretty much near impossible. And then I just show up for the funny accent and do the paperwork for
It worked good. You got the accent, the beard, the mustache, and the friendliness.
Yeah, we've got it all.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's been like the poker rally seems like the big thing, but is that has that been like the biggest would you say like your best days out there?
They're all good days out there.
Oh, man. The best is like Friday nights on a long summer night when all the boys show up, and it's just like all the good old boys, and then hot laps, one after the other. Boom, boom. You get 8 laps in after.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Poker Rally is great. It's usually like one of the best events of the year, but it's a lot of work and a lot of stress and a lot of BS.
Yeah.
Like, we're happy to do it. We love hosting the event, but like some of the best days for me out there, like May long weekend, hot, sunny. It's like the core group of friends. There's nobody out there because it's early season. Just smash laps all day. Don't have to worry about doing speeches or prizes or herding 100 people up together.
Yeah.
Poker Rally is wonderful, but it like I always say, like one of my favorite parts of the Poker Rally is like I usually stay past the Sunday or whatever, is like Monday morning. But out there's no one out there, and it's all over. It was successful, and it's just you're just happy to soak it all in and just chill after all the weekend of craziness, basically.
Night riding before the Poker Rally is also wicked.
Night riding is always a blast out there.
Basically, the Poker Rally is just like our big opener event, kind of kick off the season. Nice. For a lot of the like non-locals. They kind of understand that's like our opener. It's gone.
But like, Poker Rally, I usually don't even ride my bike. Maybe one lap in the afternoon.
Group lap is always good at the Poker Rally.
Oh yeah. That's one of the best laps of the year usually.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Boys lap.
We get the board members together and sneak them up to the top without anybody else, and just pick a trail and do a top to bottom lap, and like you can hear people like screaming and hooting and hollering the whole way. Like there's trees falling over, there's rocks flying everywhere, there's just clouds of dust, and like it was a real special moment a few years ago. Like, a couple of guys tried to follow the board down, and like they've got to the bottom and they're like, man, we finally understand why you guys love it so much, because like putting the board together and like going for it, like a few of us were pretty emotional at the bottom of that lap. Of just like all the hard work had finally paid off. It's the end of the Poker Rally, and we're all just together, like just like a bunch of kids or a bunch of grown men just trying to escape reality just for a little bit, and just it definitely hits the spot.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something about like getting on a bike. It somehow, like, I think it puts you back maybe like 10, 15, 20 years. Like, so you're just like a kid.
Oh yeah, big time.
Maybe it's the intensity. Maybe it's the fact that like trees don't move and stuff like that, and and rocks hurt. But
you gotta be totally present. You can't be wandering onto other stuff.
So how many days do you guys get out at Baseline? Like, I know you guys are pretty close, so you probably see like 30, 40 days of biking in the summer.
Ooh, way more.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm usually Jason and me are usually there quite a bit. Jason gets at least 30, 40 just at the beginning of the season. I know I'm there every other weekend. Well, every weekend, Friday till Sunday usually.
Yeah.
Rory, his is going to change. He's going to be coming out a lot. He's just been so busy.
Last year or this year just gone hasn't been the most successful riding year for me, but there's some changes in the future, so
Yeah,
I definitely look forward to going back to be able to spending 3 or 4 days every 2 weeks out there, just getting out and enjoying it. So
yeah. I usually do usually around 30 days straight in the spring, and then get onto like a 2 week in, 1 week out rotation, and usually I'm out there on my weeks off. I don't know. I probably got this year. I've done nothing but work, but yeah, I usually get probably 50, 60 days in for sure.
Yeah. And then, like, because I know the women's ride went from like 6 to 18. Is that like common where you see like people like every year it doubles or grows substantially each year?
Yeah. And that was a big one. We're really starting to gain some ground too with ladies.
Yeah, like shout out to like Dina.
Yeah, Dina.
shout out to Dee.
Yeah.
Her and her crew are pushing the women's riding out there pretty big, and it's really good to see.
Yeah, and see, like,
we started with, like I said, we were our first poker rally. Like, we hoped that maybe
I think we had
we'll
40
get
or
like
something.
30 people, 40 people, and then like we got 70, and it was like, whoa, like this could definitely be a thing. And like our biggest poker rally just before COVID and stuff like that, we had like 220 riders, and like we had Rocky Mountain Bicycles come out with demo bikes. We've had Specialized out there. We've had Cannondale out there. We had at one point we had Red Bull girls come out there and like hand out Red Bull drinks and drive a funny little car around. Like, it was super rad. And then I'm kind of hoping we can do a similar turnout next year with hopefully Rocky's going to jump back on board again, and Specialized will come out again, and hopefully see some Red Bull representation out there again as well. That'd be pretty sweet now that COVID's over and all that kind of stuff is finished.
Yeah, shout out also to our long-term supporters like Nathan's
Revolution
Bicycle Repair, Revolution Cycle. Revolution has been there since the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't. The community, the businesses that support it, there's just like nothing. Like, I'm always shocked by how awesome everything is always there. And I know I keep saying it, but yeah. Yeah. I wish I fat biked, so then I'd just come in the winter, but I go skiing, so I'll come back in June or May.
Well, we do ski out there.
I'm a skier too. I'm not buying a fat bike.
No fat bike here.
Maybe we can convince Nathan to get an electric fat bike so he can just pull us up on the skis.
Actually, yeah, the boys there was a pretty wicked storm last year, and the boys actually had some really good skiing in the clear cut.
Yeah. I went sled skiing like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days last winter. Like, me and Eric went up for the winter extravaganza, and we were skiing then. And then he phoned me the next morning. He's like, dude, are you working today? And I was like, no. He's like, are we going sled skiing again? And I was like, yeah. So we did that a few times actually. It was awesome. Yeah. We had that wicked lap. Me and Rory and Eric. Nathan brought us up down on Bearded.
I'll have to come down, because usually when I just go ski, well, I either go out to like my family's down there, Rory, so just on Prairie Creek Road, so not too far.
Oh, right on.
My house.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to come down, because last winter with the family, we were just pulling ourselves behind a side-by-side and built this big kicker that was sending me like 10, 20, 15 feet in the air and spinning threes off it, but it was a flat landing. So I'd love the baseline vertical to go down, so then I don't have to land flat.
Bring your rock skis though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few of those, so I'll be good.
It was great. Like I've snowboarded bearded 2 or 3 times now, and it's always just a good time to be able to go through and hit all the wooden features in the winter instead of the summer. It's definitely a good change for things. But even the tight tree skiing in the winter, there you can do a fat bike lap and then catch a sled ride up to the top, and then man, the tight turns through the trees, and like you come out into the opening in the clear cut. And there was just powder turns the rest of the way down. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Deep snow.
Lots of minuses to the logging. That was definitely one benefit.
Because that happened 3 years ago?
That was just last year.
Oh, last year?
The logging, you mean?
No.
Yeah.
I think the
logging like 3-4 years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant the skiing. I'm still on one. I got one track mind.
And it was definitely like, I think the way we approached the harvesting was definitely a good thing. The way we approached the harvesting wasn't, a lot of places, like even out at Cumberland had to deal with harvesting, and like you can dig your heels in and you can argue about it, but at the end of the day, the harvesting company is there to do a job. You're not going to fight it. There's a similar thing happened with MEC supported, besides COP, and didn't want the trails ruined in there. And then MEC ended up buying a block of land there that ended up it went that way anyway. So the way we approached it was actually, we were out there talking with the operators, like taking bottles of whiskey out, and like we actually worked with them to actually protect the trails the best we could. So it wasn't too much of a mission to kind of bring them back to life once they'd finished the logging. So we actually communicated well with those guys on that project, and you'll see on the side of Baseline now, there's a bunch of kind of 6 to 8 foot stumps. And like we went out there and they had maps of the trails, and they were like, okay, here's a trail. And so they cut high logs there so they knew where to work around. And they actually were pretty respectful about it, considering they didn't have to. It probably would have cost them more time and more money in the end.
Oh, totally.
But working together with them as opposed to trying to fight them along the way definitely worked as a benefit, and helped us for the future as well, because then it gave us, they helped pile some dirt and stuff and leave a road access for what will hopefully be a flow and jump trail in the future. So there's two sides to every kind of situation there, but definitely trying to go with the flow a little bit and maybe help direct it a little bit, as opposed to just digging the heels in and trying to fight it. Worked definitely in benefit in our situations. So definitely something to take away for other user groups in that situation.
Yeah, like you're not going to stop industry. Like we're pretty small potatoes compared to them. They own the trees. No matter how hard you want to fight it or try to fight it, you're not gonna win that battle. So for us, it was better just to work with them. And like Rory said, they were really respectful, best they could for our trails. They more or less treated all the trails as streams, and only cross them with equipment where they absolutely have to. So there was really nowhere where they ran up and down the trail bed itself. They'd cross in one spot from one side to the other and kind of left the rest of it as is, the best they could. And I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of the logging out there, or that Baseline is better logged than it was not logged, but for the most part, they were really respectful, and they did whatever they could to help us out, which was more than we could ask for, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I found that especially with growing a new brand, I find it a lot easier to see where I can help and assist and work together rather than try something new or whatever. But
yeah.
So how we're hunting the good days. Like that's what Good Day Optics is all about. How does everyone here make sure they have more good days than bad?
Oh.
Spend
just
fine.
surround yourself by good people. Like people make the place. Like I've traveled all over the world and stuff, and definitely people make the place. Like you go out to Baseline and they're your friends. And if they're not your friends, they will be by the end of the day. Like everybody's super easygoing, super friendly, and how do I get good days, man? I go out and I hang out with my friends because the friends are all like I said, we all go through the same stuff. Like we're all a unique individual snowflake, just like everybody else. You can't escape certain things, but to be with your friends and maybe be distracted for a little bit is just definitely a great way for I think myself and I think for most of us out there to try and catch better days over any other day.
Yeah, totally. We're not looking to one up each other or anything like that. We just want to hang out and have a good time out at the mountain with our friends.
I think that I know I probably sound like a coach or something like that, but just having a good attitude in the first place, can just turn your day around really. Every day is a new day kind of thing, and you work with what you got, and it is what it is kind of thing. If you just roll with it.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff that you can't control.
Yeah, exactly. Can't control it. Like my bike got run over by a truck, and I was like, "It's Friday night. We can't do anything about it, boys. I'll drive." Like, what am I supposed to do? Right? So whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it's still more fun shuttling and being out there than it is to be at home moping, right?
Yeah,
I did that when I broke my arm.
So
I went out lots and shuttled. The first time I broke my arm, it was great. Just drive people around and hang out because surrounded by your friends is better than not.
Yeah. Well, it's like
what about you, Nate?
Oh, just keep positive. There's already so much negative out there, so just reminding yourself that all your friends and everything is just good and keeping that positive attitude, like Tom said. Just having that attitude can change everything immediately. If you start looking at all the bad stuff, how do you think it's going to turn? So just keeping that positive attitude always makes the good, a good day. Especially out there, like Roy said, friends, all that. This even just a good day alone, just talking to these guys, the community that we have brightens my day so much. So
yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see all you guys down at, or for the ones who can make it down at Woodridge's appreciation.
It'll be a good Sunday.
It will be a good Sunday. But it's funny because Roy, you said it's you'll be friends with them at the end of the day. I think I'd go one shorter. I think it usually becomes you're friends with them before you even get to the top of the hill, and then even a quarter into the run, you're best friends after that.
Yeah, that's it. It's funny because nobody's, like I said, everybody knows how to ride. Nobody's trying to prove anybody or prove anything, and everybody kind of leaves their ego in check and just wants to hang out. That's what it's about, going out and hanging out with your friends and having a good day. Nobody wants to go out and ride, and maybe people do. I don't know. I don't. Maybe they don't come to Baseline. Maybe they just stay somewhere else, on Calgary trails or Edmonton trails. Who knows? But people come out and they just you want to have fun. That's what it's about. It's about going out and hanging out with your buddies and having a good day. Not I've got to get to the bottom of this faster than everybody else. Good for you, pal. Right.
Cool. See you there.
I'll wait 5 minutes for you at the bottom, but I'll see you there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I really like what Jason said. Like, just don't sweat the small stuff. Like, yeah, that seems to
Keep chasing what you want to do. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. But
Yeah, life's short. I got to experience that last summer when my mom went in 17 days. So it's like, if something's not enjoyable, don't do it.
No.
Try to make it a little more enjoyable or just stop.
Yeah. If you're hating your life every day, make a change, do something different. Like, no one wants to live like that.
Well, and I think some people sometimes get stuck or whatever. Like they think they have to make big change, but it's like, I just started, like, I still haven't gotten back to the gym since my mom passing, but like, I just started biking and going out like maybe like an hour each day, and it just, slowly starts improving. And then you're like, oh, I need to do this. Or like, like little things make the biggest change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like Nathan definitely saved me. Like a couple of years ago, I went through a pretty rough relationship breakup, and I was like on a mattress like not even a mattress, like a camping mat on the floor at a buddy's place. And I was saying to Nathan, I was like, man, I'm pretty depressed. Like life sucks. And then I'm like, I'm on a mattress on the floor, like on a camping mat on the floor. He's like, well, why don't you go and buy a bed? I don't know, man. Like that's pretty crazy. But like, it sounds weird, but making that little change, like I'm no longer on a mattress on the floor or a camping mat on the floor. I'm in a bed. And I was like,
things are looking up.
Life is really good. Like, life is really good. Like, I've got a bed. Look at me go. But without Baseline and the friends from out there and having that community out there, like I would have still been on a depressed in a camping mat on the floor in a basement in Sylvan Lake. So I'm definitely much happier now with a bed where I am. So definitely made a difference hearing that from a friend. So the little things definitely count.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's great.
Bed, would you?
I'll edit the little part out of this, but yeah. Man, I have a brain fart. I should do this on not a Tuesday night, apparently.
Closing thoughts, Nathan.
Yeah, closing thoughts.
Baseline rocks. Friends are great, and riding bikes is even better. No, just reminding that there's so much more here in this world, and just keeping positive about it. Not like you say, small changes. Like we all have had parts in our lives where stuff wasn't the greatest, and looking at the positive side of it, or understanding that you can change it, because things could be so much worse. Like just one slight change, or letting your friends know that you're not feeling the greatest, they'll get you out. Like I don't know how many times these guys have got me out of the dumps and into a positive mind space.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think we've said it a few times. Like everyone goes through hard things, but until you like it, and it's hard, you got to share a little bit. But then people like it just sparks new things and sparks them helping you and like wanting to push you out of that like slump. So I think friends go a long way.
Oh yeah, and it creates a community. Like being that vulnerable with people can, like, even just sharing, say, hey man, get in the ride. You don't know how that guy day went when you said, hey, get in the car, and that just cheered him up probably monumentally. It changed the whole community side of what he thought was his reality too. So
yeah,
in so many ways.
Well, thank you guys for coming on to episode 3 of Stoke Hunters. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks for having us.
Jared.
Thanks for having
Awesome.
us. You bet.
Thank you.
Can't wait for Poker Alley.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, events for next year, Poker Alley, downhill race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More ladies rides,
Yep.
yeah.
ladies weekend, costume rides.
Costume ride.
Maybe we'll see the Stoke farmer back out harvesting some Stoke.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely some of that.
Some farm fresh stoke.
Yeah.
Bring your Stoke combine, boys.
Awesome. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
see ya.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.